If someone ever told you I'm doing research, what do you think the person is doing? If someone ever tells you I'm doing research, what comes to your mind? Yes, please.
Finding out more information about something.
Finding out more information about something. The word research, if someone says, I'm going to research about you, what does a person mean? So, research comes from a French word. I'm not a French person. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is spelling. If someone can write and spell it for us, or let me put it in the group. Let me type it in the group. If someone knows French, you can spell it for us. But for me, let me put it in the chat. Me being not a French person, it comes from that word. I don't know who can spell it for us very well. And when look at the meaning of that word from French, its meaning is to seek out. Means to seek out. And this one is suggesting a repeated activity. Repeated activity. Also from Latin, there is a word which also I'm going to put in the group because I'm not a Latin man, I might spell it wrongly. So from Latin, there's that word. I don't know if we have people experts in those languages on the group who can help us. But that Latin word, it means to wander around. Or you can even call it to circle around, to go around something. Now the question is, why do we go around something? Why do we do a repeated activity? And what are we seeking to find out? So in research, our concern is about the nature of reality. Reality has what we call the truth, but it's not easy to come to this truth. Come to the truth, you have to do repeated activities. You have to do something repeatedly. You have to go around something in order to get the truth. If someone says, I'm going to research about you, it means he wants to know more truth about you. Okay? So, when we talk of research, when we come to our information technology, information systems, we also do research. And information technology research, we can say it involves systematically investigation or systematically investigating into problems related to computing. Also, we look at problems related to information systems and digital technologies. And here we are looking at it in order to generate new knowledge and develop practical solutions. I don't know if people are making notes there. If you think there's something you need to write, you write. So I'm saying when it comes to information technology, we do a systematic investigation. Okay? We do a systematic investigation into problems that are related to computing. Problems that are not related to computing, that's not our concern. One time I was told to go and supervise an intern student. And this student is doing a Bachelor of Computer Science. And when I went to supervise him where he's working, it was in Kabalagala. The student took me to a boutique. And I found there ladies with the clothes. And I asked a student of computer science, what are you doing in a boutique? I said, sir, I'm doing internship. I said, which internship are you doing in a boutique? He said, but sir, I am assisting these people to know how to sell their things. Computer science student, 3 years studying computer science. The best you can do is to go to a boutique to help people, to help these ladies to sell their clothes. Okay. So you can just look at that. And later on, I discovered that the boutique was for his sister. So you see how people are taking our computing as something to joke with. So when we talk of information technology research, we are looking at solving problems which are related to computing, information systems, and digital technologies in order to generate new knowledge or develop practical solutions. If you have a question at any moment, you can ask, but otherwise for me to continue, assuming everything is okay. Now, this research which we do in IT, it helps organizations, it helps societies in the following ways. One, it improves the technology systems. Two, to solve computing problems. One, we improve technology systems. Of course, technology systems are there. Remember, we said when we say emerging trends, it means there are instances that are coming now and again which were not anticipated. The word emerging comes from emergency, and trends means technology is on the move. So today, you may develop a system and you think this system is good enough. But tomorrow, you discover that you left out something. You need to improve. So one aspect of research in information technology is to improve technology systems. Another aspect is to solve computing problems. Then another one is to develop innovative digital solutions. Innovative digital solutions. Today you can see organizations like banks have gone digital. We have digital money now, e-money. Banks no longer want you to move with the cash. That's why they have created mobile apps to use. Those are digital solutions. When you go to URA, they have gone digital. Go to lands, go to the driving permit license of recent, the third party for the cars, those of you are driving, all these things have gone digital. Okay? All these have gone digital. So, you can think of something and you digitalize it. And that is research, IT research. I know some of you are still struggling with finding your topics. Then improve efficiency and productivity. We improve efficiency and productivity. So as a final year student, I assure more of your final year students, you have what you call a final year project. We have what you call final year project. And in this final year project, you have things like system development. We are looking at your skills in system development, innovation, and entrepreneurship. All this comes out in your final year project. When you come to the panel, these are things we are looking for. If you have a system, how have you developed a system? You're going to see different methodologies, different ways of doing it. If you're saying, I'm going to develop a system, the other time I was asking you topics, And many of you, the issue was about developing system. Now, the issue is how do we develop these systems? Okay. We are looking for innovation in your project. Have you innovated anything, or you're just duplicating what is already there? Innovation. Those are things that we consider when we are giving you marks. Is there any innovation from the student? Is there any entrepreneurship? Then the major thing there is evidence-based decision making, as we are going to see. Evidence-based. You don't just sit in your room and you assume things and you come to the panel and you say, blah, blah, blah. No. We expect you to go to the field, then collect evidence, collect data. Okay, we are going to see later on those things. Now, from this course unit, or from this topic of IT research, so I expect you to be able to explain the meaning and purpose of IT research. This one will come up in your exam. So as you enter the exam, you should be able to explain the meaning and the purpose of IT research. These are things we are looking at right now. Then identify research problems. Identify research problems. That is why in your research, the first question we are going to ask you on the panel, what is your problem statement? Why are you even carrying out this research? What is the problem you want to solve? So you should be able to identify the research problem. And this research problem should be in the field of information technology. I have told you the other student who took me to a boutique doing internship there. Now, what problem is in the boutique that you are going to solve with an IT problem? IT solution. So identify research problem in the field of information technology. Then you should be able to distinguish between different types of research in IT. You are going to see different types of research in IT. So you should be able to distinguish. Then formulate simple IT research questions. Apply research skills for real-world IT problems. How people are writing. I'm not going to give you a handout on this, because when I give you handouts, people just cram. That's why I want you to write what you have understood. Am I still on? Oh, well, I'm talking to myself.
Sir,
Yes?
we are hearing you properly.
All right. So we continue.
Yes, sir, we continue.
All right. Now I want us to think of a scenario at Nkumba University. Nkumba University, we have e-learning platform, okay? And when you look at our e-learning platform, students are not actively using it. They are not actively using the e-learning, which is provided by the university. I hope all of you have heard of the e-learning. Now, the question here is, what is the problem? Why are students not actively using the e-learning platform? Who thinks why? Now you are students yourselves, and I'm sure many of you are not using it. Why are you not using it? Yet it was brought to make academics easy, to soften the teaching methods, such that if the lecturer is not around, he can put the materials there, the student can find them and use them. But many students will not go there. Why? And when you go there to look at this e-learning, how do you determine to know students are not using it? We see there's a low login rates. Very few students log in, okay? And very few students, even those who log in, very few engage with the online course materials which lecturers are put there. Very few students open those materials, yet they are there. You may find a lecturer put their notes and you find no student has ever clicked on those notes. And when you put the discussion forums, no student goes there, even if they have the account. So we want to understand, why are students not actively? Why are they not active on the system? And what improvement can increase their activity, their activeness? So that is my question now to you. Can someone tell me why students are not actively using the system, and where do we need to improve so that these students, you the students, can actively use it? Yes? Is it so hard? Is the scenario so hard?
Excuse me, sir. So,
Yes?
in my opinion,
Mm.
the reason why students most times don't use the e-learning platform, like on the side of accessing notes and other things, mainly notes,
Mm.
is like anyone in our studying WhatsApp groups, lecturers just share to us like the notes in the WhatsApp group. So we find there's no much need to go back to the e-learning platform to access notes. You already have them. You have been given in WhatsApp in your groups. That's why.
So for you, think lecturers should stop sharing notes in the WhatsApp groups?
No, I don't think they should stop
Mm.
because it is even easier for us and quicker when it is on WhatsApp.
Mm. So you mean the
But
university now
that's
wasted the resources by creating the e-learning platform?
I know they do waste resources.
Mm.
There are also other things that can be good with the e-learning platform apart from the notes. But apart from not the e-learning platforms also.
Another one. Now, when you look at that scenario, you can ask yourself, what problem needs to be investigated? Okay. So this is how we begin research. This is how we need research. As we said, it is a systematic process. Now we have seen that students are not actively using the system. Yet the university invested a lot of money in it, but the students are not actively using the system. So what problem needs to be investigated? The problem is students not using the system. We need to investigate. And our brothers just told us that lecturers are sending notes in the group. So if we discover that the problem why students are not active, of course, we don't just wake up and we conclude the way our brother said. There has to be evidence, okay? There has to be evidence, like you can say, for example, in our group of emerging trends, our lecturer on such and such a date sent the notes in the group. So there was no need for me to go to the e-learning platform. Then that is evidence. You can even take a screenshot and you put it in your work to prove. You don't just say that lecturers send notes in the group. We shall ask you, how sure are you? How come for us we have never seen? And the lecturers will even say, for us we have never sent any notes in the group. That student is lying. You have to produce evidence. You remember we talked of evidence-based. Okay? You have to produce evidence to say, on such and such a date, our lecturer of emerging trends send notes in the group, and even this is a screenshot. So, however, I said the same notes are on the e-learning platform. So there was no need for me to go to the e-learning platform because I already got the what? The notes. So we need that evidence-based. We investigate where is the problem. So what information should researchers correct? Now, if our problem is about the students not active on the platform, another question we're asking ourselves, what information should we correct? to give us the evidence we are looking for. Okay? What information are we going to collect to give us that evidence? And what technology solutions might improve the situation? Okay? So all these are questions that we are asking ourselves. And when you look at this, it clearly brings out the importance or the reason why we should do research in solving IT problems. Okay? So when you look at research in itself, as we said earlier on, it is a systematic investigation. And we conduct it in order to discover new knowledge or solve problems from what we are seeing. We are conducting a research to find out why these students are not active. So, in a way, we are discovering new knowledge. We want to solve the problem. And the key elements in research, when you are going to do your research, these are the key elements or characteristics that research looks at. One, it is systematic and is organized. Students, some of you students, I don't know how many of you have been given to me to supervise. Is there anyone I'm supervising on this group? Do you have third-year students here? Anyone who has been given to me to supervise? Okay. It seems some are not here. They are there, but they are not talking. Okay. So these are the characteristics of research. The first one is systematic and organized. I have seen students who send to you work, they say, sir, look through, sir, this is my work, look at it. It is not even, there's no order in it. You struggle to look what a student, there must be an order. From this, I go to this. From this, I go to this. But some students, they don't have any order at all in their work. You are the one to find out whether this is the cover page, whether this is the problem statement, whether this, they just go to ChatGPT, they correct a throw. Sir, and then you look at the work. The work has to be systematic, should be organized. Okay? Well organized. That is one characteristic of research. It is systematic, it is well organized. Things follow each other in order. From this, you go to this. What is in chapter 1? What is in chapter 2? What is in chapter 3? What is in chapter 4? Okay? But you find a student bringing what is supposed to be in chapter 4, he brings it in chapter 1. What is supposed to be in chapter 3, brings it in chapter 2. Very disorganized. And he has sent you to look at the work. When you throw it back, he said, but sir. That is one characteristic. Second, it should be based on evidence. Research should be based on evidence. So my brother, you don't just say the students are not going to e-learning platform because the lecturers are putting work in the group. No, there has to be evidence to prove that. Should be based on evidence. You don't just say Nkumba University has no timetable management system, so I have come to design a tablet. Where is the evidence to prove that Nkumba University has no timetable management system? We need that evidence for us to believe you. Okay? You don't just wake up and you say, now, let me pick a topic for someone here. Who wants us to share his topic, to use it as an example? Who is bold enough to give us his topic? Oh, we have only cowards on the group.
So let me give you this one. Environment monitoring system.
Environment?
Monitoring system.
It's not complete. The question will be, what are you monitoring from the environment? That is too broad. What are you monitoring in the environment?
Landslides and water flooding.
Yes. You are
Underwriting.
not.
an IoT approach to landslides and water flooding.
Yeah, but it's still wide. You have to contextualize it. Are you designing it for cows, for animals, for people in Uganda, for people in Bududa, for the entire country, for the entire world? Where are you basing it?
For the people in Bududa.
All right. Now you have to give us evidence that people in Bududa have a problem with the landslides. You get it? You can't sit in your room and you think people in Bududa have problems with landslides. No. So therefore, you need to design a system for them. You don't just sit in your room. You can go as far as you can even go to Bududa, okay, and take pictures to show exactly that really people have problems. Okay. You don't just wake up, you sit in your room and you say, I think people in Bududa have landslides. I need a system for them. You are going to come on the panel and we ask you, how sure are you? Where did you get this information from? Okay. So we need evidence-based to prove that actually people in Bududa have landslide problems. Okay. Then again, another characteristic of research, it has to be objective and logical. Objective, what does it mean? It means it doesn't have to have your personal opinion. It doesn't have to have your personal opinion. No. It flows from a certain logical flow. It is not you to, who said, because you are the one who said the landslides in Bududa. Yes,
Yes,
is it?
sir.
Yeah. Now, Kakoza,
Yes.
how did you know that there are landslides in Bududa? How?
So I carried out research on television, TV, and I'm also planning to go there.
Now, the question is, how do you know whether those television people are lying? Maybe they want to sell their TVs. They want people to watch more of their news. Do you have the evidence that what they are actually portraying is from Bududa? Maybe they got it from Nigeria and they said it is from Bududa.
Yeah, sir,
Okay.
you are right about that. But I have friends from Bududa, and I'm also planning to go there, sir, to
So
get first-hand information.
we are looking at objectives. The opinion you have, it shouldn't be a TV opinion, because even the TV opinion, you never know. Another characteristic, it is focused on solving problems. Yes, Kakos has told us there's a problem of landslide. When you look at his work, it is focused on solving a problem of landslides. Okay? So we are saying any information systems research should be systematic and organized. I have given you 4 characteristics. One, your research must be, I hope you're writing them down. Your research must be systematic and organized. It should be based on evidence. It should be objective. It shouldn't be biased. Okay? It shouldn't be biased. It should be objective and should have a logical flow. A logical flow. And finally, it should be focused on solving a problem. Some people do research which is even bringing more problems. There are some students who are having topics. A student brings you a topic, but the topic is even causing more problems. We are saying our topic, our research should be solving a problem, not causing more problems. Then let's look at the meaning of information technology research. Remember, we are doing trends in IT, okay? And one of the topics, one of the major areas of the trends in IT is research, because we said IT is on the move, is moving, is not stagnant, is not static in one place. And what can make this, the petrol or the diesel that can make our car to move is research, okay? A car cannot move unless you are putting petrol or diesel. So information technology cannot move unless we have done research. Okay, so that means we have to understand very well this research in order for us to keep this IT on the move, such that it's not in one place. So meaning of information technology research. So information technology research, it focuses on investigating problems related to computer technologies, one we have already seen already. I am going to give you some areas in which you can do IT research. Those of you who have not got topics, I am going to give you some of the areas, good areas, which you can do IT research into. One is cybersecurity. We have a lot of threats in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity. You can do a lot of research there. Currently, I'm doing also my PhD, but I'm doing it in cybersecurity. And me, I'm basing on cybersecurity in universities. And our university, Nkumba, is one of my target universities. I'm doing it in Nkumba University, Makerere University, Nkozi University, Kyambogo University. I'm looking at cybersecurity in these universities. So there's a lot of, you can do research in that. I don't want you to take my topic. You look for yours. Don't work on mine. Okay? There's a lot of research which you can do in cybersecurity. Then artificial intelligence. We did a question on artificial intelligence. There's a lot of, this morning I have been teaching artificial intelligence, and I've been telling students, if you go to hospitals there, they still have a lot of issues. You can design a diagnostic system whereby we don't need a doctor. These systems have started applying in abroad, developed countries, but here in Uganda, still a problem. You can come up with an AI system which is going to help patients when they go to hospital without even seeing if there's a doctor or not. And this system can be even more accurate than just a doctor, a human doctor. Then software development. There are so many softwares that people need to develop in various organizations. Database optimizations. Look at our university there. Database optimization, database for the students. Is that, when you look at it, is it appropriate? Is it the best the university can have? Database. Cloud computing systems. You can get a topic within the cloud computing systems. And then the human-computer interaction. Human-computer interaction. Now, for my PhD is combining the cyber threats and the human-computer interaction, is combining the two. And I'm looking at people in cyberspace, their behavior. Is it the cause of cybersecurity problems? Because when you look at the cybersecurity frameworks which are around, they are basically looking at the technical side. They don't mind the user. Yet it is the users who create this. So if we help these users, can we lessen the cyber threats? Because putting cyber policies in the universities without considering the lecturers and the students who are using them, you may end up when you have not got what you want. So there's a lot of research you can do in these areas. I have talked of cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, software development, database optimization, cloud computing, human-computer interactions. So you have big areas for topics. Any questions so far? Okay. So when you look at IT research, as we have already said, it plays an important role in modern society. How does it do this? It does it already, we have said, by improving technology systems which are already there. We improve on them. So research helps to identify weaknesses and improve system performance. Some systems have weaknesses. but it is research which can help us. It is research which can help us to improve on these weaknesses. Like, if you look at the system of Nkumba University, if you look at the e-learning system, is there any weakness in it? And if there's a weakness, can you improve it using research? Okay. Again, it supports innovation. Innovation. Many technologies can emerge from research activities. Many technologies can emerge. Technologies like blockchain technologies can come through research. Remember when mobile money had just come, you could not use mobile money to pay school fees. You could not use mobile money to buy your car. You could not use mobile money to buy goods. You could not use but today we have things like Momo. You can use mobile money to buy your car. You can use mobile money to pay taxes. You can use, all this is coming out of research. It supports innovation. Then it can solve real world problems. Problems like cybercrime. I have talked of doing research in cybersecurity. Okay. So if you do research in cybersecurity, you are most likely going to help us to calm down the crimes in cyber, which we call cyber crimes. Cyber crimes, these are crimes which are committed using computers as a tool, or it can be a computer itself which is targeted. So cyber crime. Some people are targeting the computer, others are using the computer to commit crime, and that's why you call cyber crime. Then data security. So many people, banks are losing data, institutions are losing data. One time at our campus there are some students who went into the system and they changed those who had retakes. They gave them A+ data security. See, I'm sure someone is here now on the platform saying, how I wish I know those students. Then digital transformation. Also, IT research is going to help us to do improved decision making, because it is going to provide data and evidence for decision making. We are going to have data, we are going to have evidence, and therefore we shall be able to make decisions. In types of research in information technology, am I too fast? Or people writing? Types of research. Yes? Someone was talking.
Professor,
Yes?
I was saying we are okay with the speed.
Okay. So let's look at the types of research in information technology. So we can categorize them into several types. The first one, we shall call it basic research. Basic research. And now this basic research, it focuses on expanding knowledge without a immediate practical application or solution. Okay? It looks at expanding knowledge, but it may not give an immediate practical application or solution. For example, it could be a machine algorithm and just some errors. Or you can even write a machine algorithm for a robot, but you may not create that robot. Then someone may use your algorithm to create the real robot. I don't think if you get what I mean. You can do research and you come up with an algorithm. And then you say you recommend the future researchers to create the robot. For you are not going to create a robot, but you are going to design the algorithm and leave it there. Then someone else can come and pick on that algorithm and then it designs the robot and says, I picked this algorithm from a researcher called so and so. So for you, your job was to design the algorithm, and the job of the other is now to create the real robot that is going to implement your algorithm. So basic research, you stop at the algorithm. Then we have what we call the applied research. Now, applied research it focuses on solving the actual problem. Like the other robot, someone is now going to create, that is applied research now from the basic research. So, for example, developing a mobile application for managing student attendance, that is applied research. Someone can identify that there's a problem with student attendance, and you can write an algorithm and leave it at that. But you don't develop the application, but you can write an algorithm and you leave it at that. And you recommend future researchers to do that. Then someone can come and pick on that and develops the application, a mobile application. Okay? So that is applied research. So when you are choosing your research, you can either do a basic research or you can do an applied research. But in doing basic research or applied research, we have some methodologies which we can use. We have what we call the quantitative research and there's qualitative research. So we have to get a difference between the two. In your methodology there, chapter 3, we need to know the methodology that you are using. Are you using a quantitative research or qualitative research? Or are you mixing the two? Sometimes when you do a mix, you can get out something better. Now, quantitative research focuses on numerical data or statistical data. Quantitative comes from the word quantity, So it looks at numerical data or statistical data. And in quantitative research, you can use things like survey results or measurements. For example, you may ask yourself, if you're investigating the students, why students are not active on the e-learning platform, you may need to know how many students log in a week, how many students log in a month, how many students log in the semester. That is now numerical data, which is going to come from the survey results. By finding out how many that you are doing a survey, by finding out how many. Our brother Kakoza there, who is going to Bududa, hope you'll go, you are not deceiving us. Hope you are going to go to Bududa. You are going to, we may want to find out how many people have been displaced or how many people have been affected by landslides in a year, in a month, in a week, in the past 2 years. And then of this, how many are adults? How many are aged? How many are children? Is it that children are the most affected? Is it that adults are the most affected? Is it that the aged are the most affected? So this is quantitative research. Then qualitative research, it focuses on understanding the behaviors, opinions, and experiences. Qualitative comes from the word quality. You hear the word quality assurance, quality. And now you discover that this one is not easy because you can't measure it in numbers. You can't measure quality in numbers. It may come from observations. It can come from personal opinions. That is why I asked you, my brother Kakoza, you say from TVs, and I ask you, how sure are you that what the TV is reporting is actually? Now that is an opinion. That is opinion for any TV. From the opinion, they say landslides are killing people in Bududa because they go to only one household and they make it news and they generalize it. So, opinions, experiences, okay? And in this, you can do things like interviews. You can interview people. Maybe you can go and interview the students why they are not using the e-learning platform. You can interview them. You can even create what you call focus groups. And these ones are going to help you to make decisions. Focus groups. But you also see that observation is key here. Like our brother Pakoza said, he's going himself to Bududa. What is he going to do there? He's going to observe. He's going to observe such that he writes what he observed himself from observation. He can also create focus groups of people in Bududa and interviews them. Okay? That is qualitative research. Now, if there's no question, if there's a question, you ask, but if there's no question, let us now see the real process, how we do the research, how we start the research and where we end it. We go to the real process. Any questions so far? So now we start doing the real research, and this is what is expected of you from your supervisors. This is what they expect from you. You pay more attention here if you have not been paying attention, because these steps are going to help you in your projects which you have embarked on. And this is what will be expected of you when you go to the panel. When we are marking your work, this is the checklist we look at. So the process, first step, step number 1. I will try to be slow here, but if I'm too fast, you tell me, and I reduce so that people do research which is under, so that you don't get a lot of problems with the supervisors. So the first step is identify the research problem. That is the first step. Identify the research problem. Remember, in our scenario, we identified that students are not using the e-learning. Students are not active on the e-learning. Identify the research problem. Why are students not using the university learning management system? Okay, that is our problem now. We want to, why are they not using it? Such that we can find a solution to it. So identify the research problem. And that research problem, that is now is the issue that requires investigation. The research problem here, the students are not using the e-learning platform. Why are they not using it? So that is now the basis, and that is the issue that requires investigation. Then step 2, after identifying the research problem, that's why we are going to ask you the problem statement. Actually, in chapter 1, you are going to give the background to your study. And that background, hope people are writing down these things, that background is going to help us to know, to lay evidence, a basis for your investigation, a background. And the background is going to inform the problem statement. So you're going to have a background, then you're going to have the problem statement. What is the problem? Then after giving us a problem statement, you are going to give us the objectives you want to achieve in your research. Then you'll be giving us the significance of your research. Then the scope. Remember when Kakoza was saying, I asked him, are you going to look at landslide in the entire world, in the entire country, in Nigeria, in where exactly? So his scope is Bududa region. That is a scope. Okay. When you widen your scope, you'll never finish your research because you are going to come to the panel. For example, you're going to tell us, I'm developing a university management system. And we just say, wow, that is good. Then you end up showing us only a timetable management system. Then we say, but you said that's a university management system. University has accounts department, has HR department, has schools, has what. So if you say university management system, don't you think you're even doing a PhD topic? Even a PhD student may not finish that topic because university is too big. Narrow down your scope. And you say, I'm developing a university management system, but my scope is basically looking only at how timetable is done at the university. So your scope is, yes, but only the timetable. Okay? So you give us the scope. Those are things we expect for you. And all these are coming in step 1. Okay? Then step 2 is literature review. You review the existing literature. You look at a previous work related to your topic. Landslides in Bududa. I don't think, Kakoza, you're going to be the first person to look at landslides in Bududa. No. And even if not only landslides in Bududa, you begin with entire landslides in the entire world. Okay? You come from the top, then bottom, then now down to yours. You look at globally, how have landslides affected people? And the globally, you are going to get it through literature. Then from the global context, you come down to the African context. How have landslides affected Africans? Then from the Africans, you come down to Uganda. How have landslides affected people in Uganda in general? Then from Uganda, you come down to Bududa now. Hope you get how I'm doing it. So that is, you are doing your literature review. You are showing us the previous studies, how they have tackled your topic. And from there, you are going to be able to get your gap. And then that gap now is going to inform your problem statement. Okay? If you look at e-learning, you can look globally, internationally. Universities now have gone to electronic learning management systems. Then in Africa, what are responses to the students? How have students globally responded? How have students in Africa responded? Is it the same case for the Ugandan students? Then you come down to look at the Nkumba University students. Then you start your research on solving the issue. So chapter 2 looks at literature review. Chapter 1 was introduction, identifying the research problem and justifying whether your research is worth researchable. Then chapter 2, we are looking at other people who have done some research. And how do we get this? The sources, you can write down these sources. So the sources, one is the academic journals. You can look through academic journals. You can go to Google Scholar. You can go to ResearchGate. You can get this information from there. You don't need to travel to America. No. You don't need to travel to Nigeria. You don't need to travel the entire Africa, the entire world. No. You don't have that money to do that. But when you go to academic journals, you can get them. Go to Google Scholar, put there your topic. They'll bring you lots of people who have written about your topic. Lots of them. Read. See what they have not reached. Then we have books in the library. You can go and get books in the library. Then we have conference papers. You can also attend conferences on your topics. online databases. All those are sources of these materials. Then step three, you formulate what we call research questions. You look at factors that influence your topic. For example, if it is a student management system, what factors influence the use of the learning management system? What factors? For example, internet. There's no student is going to go to learning management system when he has no internet. That is a factor which influences. How can you use when you don't have internet? Computer. There's no student is going to use the learning management system when he has no computer or smartphone. Either student has a smartphone or a computer. And a smartphone or computer must have internet. Now, these are factors that are influencing. Okay? Factors like usability. So you formulate what we call research questions. And then step 4, by the way, your supervisors are expecting to solve. If you ever send your work to a supervisor without these things, trust me, he's going to throw it back and you are going to say this man is bad or this lady is bad, yet you are the one who is bad. We taught you the things and you have not implemented them. So those of you whom I'm supervising, already you can see the direction I'm going to take when I'm looking at your work. Step 4, that is now the chapter 4, research methodology. That is chapter 3, research methodology. So there is here you are going to decide how data will be collected. Remember, we talked of evidence. You should have evidence. And this evidence is collected using data. So how are we going to collect the data? How are we going to collect this evidence? There are various ways you can do. I'm going to give you these ways. You can incorporate them in your work, in your chapter 3. The first one is surveys. You can use surveys. The second one is interviews. Now, some of you come to the panel and you tell us the methodology I used was interviews. Then we say, okay, but you have not given us the interview questions. The moment you mention that a methodology I used, now if you're writing a proposal, you say, I'm going to use interviews. Please provide the interview questions you are going to use, or provide the interview questions that you used. Normally, we put them in the appendix of your work. You put them in the appendix. Even the surveys, you put the questions in the appendix. Then system data analysis. You may use things like SPSS. Experiments. You can experiment. All these are evidences which you are collecting. Then you will see that your proposal will end at chapter 3. That is the methodology. To have chapter 1, which is the introduction, which gives us the entire background and reasons why you are doing that research, which is justifying why you are doing research. Then chapter 2 is literature review. What have others done about the same topic? Then chapter 3 is the methodology. And if you're writing a proposal, that's where the proposal ends, on methodology. Now, after the methodology, then you start doing, after a proposal, you start doing the real work. That is now step 5. And step 5 is about collecting data. So there you gather data. Data is collected from selected participants or systems. Now, like I told you, for me in my case, I'm going to get data from Nkumba University, Makerere University, Nkozi University, Kyambogo University. And how do I select these universities? When you look at Nkumba University and Nkozi University, these are private universities. When Makerere University and Kyambogo University, these are public universities. Now, when you combine private and public, it means chances are high that you'll get good data. But if I choose Nkumba University, Nkozi University, these are private universities. Kisubi University, these are private universities. Then the question is, does the same apply to the public universities? Maybe it is a scenario for only private universities. Now, if I use only public universities, the question is, does it apply also to private? Maybe it is a case for public universities. So in order for you to have balanced data, it means you have to bring all stakeholders on board. If I'm saying I'm looking at universities in Uganda, Uganda has private universities and has public universities. So I have to balance the boat. So when you're collecting your data, you have to balance the boat. Okay? So when you go to Bududa, there are children there, there are adults there, there are also elderly people. Don't collect data which favors only the children, which all favors only adults or only elderly people. So step 5, data collection, you make sure when you're collecting data, you balance the boat. Are we together? That is step 5. Then step 6, that is analyzing the data. Now you have come back from the field. My brother has come back from Bududa. He's back to Nkumba University, all the way from Bududa. So now he's going to analyze the data which he has collected. You can analyze data using tools like statistical tools, data analysis software, we have SPSS and so on, and then thematic analysis. You can group the data into different thematic areas, and you analyze it according to thematic areas. That is data analysis. Then after analyzing your data, then you are going to present now the findings. Okay? You have come back from Bududa, you have collected your data. Now you sit in your room, analyze that data. Okay? Remember in data warehousing, we did the filtering of data. And not every data is going to go into the warehouse. Not every data that you bring from Bududa is going to be used to develop your system. No. So you get out the important data from it. Then from there, step 7, you present the findings. And that's now why we call you to the panel, to come and to present to us your findings. And you do what we call the research report. That is why it is called a final year research report. Okay? You are reporting means you are reporting what you found in the field. Okay? And there you write what we call an academic paper. And then you present. Okay? That is the last step. You present your findings by writing a report, an academic report, academic paper, and then you present. That is why we call you to the panel, to come and face the panelists, and you present. And we prove that, yes, this person went to the field, he did research, he collected data, this is what he found out, and also his topic was worth it, researchable. Are the steps clear? Any question? Very confusing?
Yes, good morning.
Now I don't know who begins. Okay. Yes?
Good morning.
Yes, Victor.
Yes, according to the steps you shown us, one is identify the research problem, then the literature review, then 3 is research methodology. You skip 4, then you jump, and 6.
I skipped 4. Who has all the 7 steps? Who has all the 7 steps? Seems Victor missed something. Who has written the 7 steps?
Doctor,
Yes?
I think I have the 7 stages, the 7 steps.
The first one?
The first one was identifying. The second is literature review. The third is methodology. The fourth I wrote analyze data. The fifth is finding, sorting the data, as you said. Then the sixth is present the findings.
Okay, let me read them briefly.
Okay, sir.
The first one, step one was identify the research problem. Okay? And that is our chapter 1. We are justifying exactly what we are working on. We give a background and we show the problem statement and the scope of our study. Then the second one is literature review. We want to look at people, how did they, those who did before our topic, what did they find out? Where did they fail? And now we get to what we call the research gap, which is going to inform the problem statement. Then step 3 is to identify or to formulate the research questions. Research questions, and here we are looking at the factors which are influencing our study, or what we call the variables. For example, when we looked at a learning system, a student needs a laptop, a student needs internet, or a student needs a smartphone. If he doesn't have it, however you design a very nice system, it will not work as long as a student doesn't have a smartphone, doesn't have a laptop, doesn't have data. Okay? So we look at factors, and also we formulate our research questions. Then step 4 is the methodology, research methodology. And we have looked at surveys, interviews, data analysis, system data analysis, and experiments. That is step 4. We select the research methodology. That is chapter 3 for research methodology. Then step 5, we go and we collect data. You see at step 4, that's where our proposal stops. Then step 5, we start doing the real research, that is collecting data. We go to the field and we collect data. Then step 6, we return from the field, then we do the data analysis. Step 6 is data analysis. We analyze this data which we have brought. We can analyze it using statistical tools like SPSS and so on. Then the last step, that is step 7, we present our findings. After analyzing, then we present our findings. And in the presenting, we do what we do. We write a research report, or you can call it an academic paper. And then finally, you go to meet the panel and you do the presentation. You present on the panel. That's why we call you to the panel to present. So step 7 is presenting the findings. How do you present the findings? You present them by writing an academic paper or a research report, and also by going and facing the panel. Okay? Then finally, we say your research has been done and it is approved. So those are the 7 stages. Any other question? Anything which is not clear?
It's clear, sir. I got it now.
Okay. Now, let us look at a practical example to understand these things. Let's look at Nkumba University experiencing several incidents of students' email accounts being hacked. Okay? Students are complaining that email accounts are being hacked. So we want to do a research to investigate the cause of this cyber attack. We want to do research. What is the cause of this cyber attack? why are student emails being hacked? Are students even aware of cybersecurity practices? And then what are the possible solutions to improve this security? You see? So when you look at this, what are some of the research questions we can ask ourselves? So some of the questions you can ask: what cybersecurity practices are followed by the university students? Maybe actually it's not hacking taking place. It may be not hacking. Recently at my workplace here, I'm an IT manager here. Our organizational emails were being blocked. Anytime you send to a Gmail account, it bounces, it doesn't accept. And people are asking me, what is the problem? What is the problem? So I had to investigate, why are these emails bouncing back? When you send to Gmail, to Yahoo, they bounce back. But when you send within our organization, it goes. So I had to do a survey to find out why. So later on, I discovered that our secretary, when she's sending mails, she makes mistakes. And when she makes mistakes, these emails bounce back. And when they bounce back, the email server's Exchange server recognizes that someone is trying to hack our system, to use our email to send wrong emails, guessing emails where to send, which don't exist. So what the email server does, because of security purposes and filtering, it blocks these emails coming from us. Okay. So now when you look here, it is a user problem. Now, actually, it is not hackers. It is a user problem. And how do you find this? By doing research, by investigating. If I did not investigate, I would scratch, you even go to the system, you find what is the problem, you change configuration and so on. Yet actually, the problem is the secretary. So the question is, what factors contribute to email accounts being hacked? What factors? And how effective are current security awareness programs at a university? These are some of the things you can look at. Okay? I don't know if you have study groups. Do you have any study groups? Oh, we have even some distance students online. So the study groups now can, but at least for the day students, you can make some study group. How many are you day students in your class? How many are you? I'm seeing 25, but I know there's a mixture of also distance students. But we can form some study groups. We can form like 4 groups. Who's the class coordinator? We have a class coordinator.
Yes, doctor.
Who is the class coordinator?
Me, doctor.
Okay, so I want you to form 4 groups. Okay? And
Yes,
these 4
doctor.
groups, this is what I'm giving you. Each group, I want you to identify an IT problem within Nkumba University environment. You are going to identify an IT problem within Nkumba University environment. I can give you an examples. For example, you can identify slow internet could be a problem. Cyber risks, cyber security risk could be a problem. Poor usage of digital learning system could be a problem. Inefficient student information system could be a problem. Inefficient, like our portal, student portal is inefficient. Library management system. Okay, so I want you to identify an IT problem within Kumba University environment. Okay? So when you identify it, I want you to define the problem statement. What is the problem with it? That is the first thing. I want you to define the problem statement. And then I want you to formulate 2 research questions for that problem you have identified. 2 research questions. Formulate 2 research questions, just 2. Define the research problem, formulate 2 research questions, and then the third, I want you to suggest a research method for collecting data. 1, define the problem. 2, formulate 2 research questions. And then 3, I want you to suggest a research methodology for collecting data. And when can we give that deadline? Before we come for the next lecture? Before Friday? Thursday is the deadline. So you know my email. You send it to arakaumankumba@gmail.com. arakaumankumba@gmail.com before Thursday next week. Define the research, identify, then define the research problem, formulate 2 research questions, and then suggest. For the distance students, you can do it individually and you send. Okay? So from this class today, we have some key concepts which we can retrieve. The first one was research. We looked at what is research. Then we looked at IT research. We looked at research problem, research questions, research methodology. So research, we said it is a systematic investigation to generate new knowledge. And then IT research, we said it is research focused on computing technologies. Research problem, we said it is the issue that requires investigation. Then research questions, we said these are questions guiding the study. And research methodology, we said these are the techniques used to collect data. So in summary, that is what we have been studying in this class. And we have said information research is essential for solving technological problems, developing innovative systems, improving digital services, and supporting evidence-based decision making. So we are saying that this topic we have covered today, it is helping us, or it is going to help us to do good final year research project work. So after attending this class, I expect you to do good final year research project work. And it's going to also help us to be good system software developers and good innovation, do good innovations in IT. So I don't know if there's anything you want me to clarify on, but for me, I think we should end here for today. I have recorded this lecture. If you need it, you can go to my YouTube channel. You'll find it there shortly. I will upload it shortly. I will also upload the coursework on the e-learning platform very soon. The individual coursework. That group assignment is also part of the coursework, but also I'll give you some individual coursework to do. And definitely this is going to be in line with doing research. The coursework will be in line with doing research. Okay, we can call it a day if there's no other question. Okay, people have understood everything. I wish you a nice day.
Thank you, Doctor.
You can change
Likewise.
you can check my YouTube channel. The lecture will be there in case you need to revise the things we have been studying.